Hello dear friends, welcome back to another episode from my channel Biology at the rate Priyojit. Please subscribe my channel if you already have not done so. Click on the bell button and select all to get all the future notifications on the newly released videos. Today we will discuss on the ultrastructure of skeletal muscle. Although bones provide leverage and form the framework of our body, they cannot move body parts by themselves. Motion results from the alternating contraction and relaxation of muscles. We know it, and the muscles nearly make up 40 to 50% of total adult body weight. Our muscular strength reflects the primary function of the muscle, the transformation of chemical energy into mechanical energy to generate force, perform work, and produce movement. In addition, muscle tissues stabilize different body position. They regulate organ volume, generate heat, and propel fluids and food matter through various body systems. The scientific study of muscles is known as myology. Among the three types of muscular tissue, skeletal muscle, cardiac muscle, and smooth muscle. Skeletal muscle tissue is so named because most of the skeletal muscles move the bones of the skeleton. What is the organization of skeletal muscle and its connective tissue covering? Connective tissue surrounds and protects the muscular tissue. The subcutaneous layer or hypodermis, which separates the muscle from our skin, it is composed of areolar connective tissue and adipose connective tissue. It provides a pathway for nerves, blood vessels, and lymphatic vessels to enter and exit muscles. The adipose tissue of the subcutaneous layer stores most of the body's triglycerides, serves as an insulating layer that reduces heat loss and protects muscles from physical trauma. Three layers of connective tissue extend from the fascia to protect and strengthen skeletal muscle. Epimysium is the outer layer encircling the entire muscle. It consists of dense irregular connective tissue. Second one is the perimysium. It is the middle layer of dense irregular connective tissue, but it surrounds group of 10 to 100 or more muscle fibers, separating them into bundles called fascicles. Many fascicles are large enough to be seen with a naked eye. They give a cut of meat is characteristics a grain. If you tear a piece of meat, it tips apart along the fascicles. Endomysium penetrates the interior of each fascicle and it separates individual muscle fibers from one another. The endomysium is mostly reticular fibers. Skeletal muscles are well supplied with nerves and blood vessels. Generally, artery and generally an artery and one or two veins accompany each nerve that penetrates a skeletal muscle. The neurons that stimulate skeletal muscle to contract are somatic or motor neurons. Each somatic motor neuron has a thread-like action that extends from the brain or spinal cord to a group of skeletal muscle fiber. Now we will discuss about the microscopic organization of skeletal muscle. The most important component of skeletal muscles are the muscle fiber themselves. The diameter of mature skeletal muscle fiber ranges nearly from 10 to 100 meter. The typical length of a mature skeletal muscle fiber is about 10 centimeter, although some are as long as 30 centimeter because each skeletal muscle fiber arises during embryonic development from the fusion of 100 or more mesodermal cells called the myoblast. The multiple nuclei of a skeletal muscle fiber are located just beneath the sarcolemma, the cell membrane of a muscle cell. Thousands of tiny invaginations of the sarcolemma, called transverse tubules, tunnel in form the surface towards the center of each muscle fiber. Because T tubules, the transverse tubules, open to the outside of the muscle fiber, they are filled with interstitial fluid. Muscle action potential travel along the sarcolemma through the T tubules, quickly spreading throughout the muscle fiber. Within the sarcolemma, there is the sarcoplasm. There is a cytoplasm of a muscle fiber. Sarcoplasm includes a substantial amount of glycogen, which is a large molecule composed of many glucose molecules. Glycogen can be used for synthesis of ATP. In addition, the sarcoplasm contains a red colored protein called myoglobin. This protein, found only in muscle, binds oxygen molecule that diffuse into muscle fibers from interstitial fluid. Myoglobin releases oxygen when it is needed by the mitochondria for ATP production. The mitochondria lie in rows throughout the muscle fiber, strategically close to the contractile muscle proteins that use ATP during contraction so that ATP can be produced quickly as needed. Now, this is the simplistic representation of a muscle fiber. At high magnification, the sarcoplasm appears stuffed with little threads. These small structures are the myofibrils or myofiber, the contractile organelle of a skeletal muscle. Myofibrils are about 2 micrometer in diameter and extends the entire length of a muscle fiber. Their prominent striations make the entire skeletal muscle fiber striated or striped in appearance. A fluid-filled system of membranous sacs called the sarcoplasmic reticulum encircles each myofibril. This elaborate system is similar to smooth endoplasmic reticulum in non-muscular cells. Dilated end sacs of the sarcoplasmic reticulum, called terminal cisterns, but against the tubules from both sides. A transverse tubule and the two terminal cisterna on each side of it form a triad. Tri means 3. So there is two terminal cisterna on either side of it form a triad. In a relaxed muscle fiber, the sarcoplasmic reticulum stores calcium ion, Ca2+, and this release of Ca2+ from the terminal cisterna of the sarcoplasmic reticulum triggers muscle contraction. Now we'll discuss the arrangement of filaments within a sarcomere. Within myofibrils, there are smaller protein structures called filaments or myofilament. Thin filaments are 8 nanometer in diameter and 1 to 2 meter in length and composed mostly of the protein actin, while thick filaments are 16 nanometer in diameter and about 1 to 2 meter long and composed mostly of the protein myosin. Both thick and thin filaments are directly involved in the contractile process. Overall, there are 2 thin filaments for every thick filament in the regions of filament overlap. The filaments inside a myofibril do not extend the entire length of a muscle fiber. Instead, they are arranged in compartments called sarcomeres, which are the basic functional unit of a myofibril. Narrow plate-shaped regions of dense protein called Z-disc separate one sarcomere from the next. Thus, a sarcomere extends from one Z-disc to the next Z-disc. The extent of overlap at the thick and thin filaments depend on whether the muscle is contracted, relaxed or stretched. The pattern of their overlap consisting of a variety of zones and bands create the striations that can be seen both in single myofibrils and in whole muscle fiber. The darker middle part of the sarcomere is the A band, which extends the entire length of the thick filaments. Toward each end of the A band is a zone of overlap where the thick and thin filaments lie side by side. In the figure we can see it. The I band or isotonic band is a lighter, low dense area that contains the rest of the thin filaments but no thick filaments, and a jet disc passes through the center of each I band. A narrow H zone in the center of each A band contains thick but not thin filament. A mnemonic will help you to remember the composition of the I and H bands is as follows. The letter I is thin, that means it contains thin filament, while the letter H is comparatively thicker, so it contains the thick filament. Supporting proteins that hold the thick filaments together at the center of the H zone form the M line, so named because it is at the middle of the sarcomere. Now we'll discuss about the components of a sarcomere. There are jet disc, narrow plate-shaped regions of the dense material that separate one sarcomere from the next. The A band is dark. It is located in the middle part of the sarcomere, extends entire length of the thick filament and includes those parts of the thin filament and that overlap the thick filament. Now the I band, they are lighter, less dense area of sarcomere that contains remainder of thin filaments but no thick filament. A jet disc passes through each center of each I band. Now we'll see the H zone. Narrow regions of A band, there is a H zone and it contains thick filament but no thin filament. Regions M line is found in the center of the H zone. It contains protein that hold thick filaments together at center of sarcomere. Now we'll see about the muscle proteins. Myofibrils are built from three kinds of protein. Contractile protein, number one, which generate force during contraction. Secondly, regulatory protein, which help switch the contraction process on and off. Structural proteins, which keep the thick and thin filaments in proper alignment, give the myofibril elasticity and extensibility, and it linked the myofibrils to the sarcolemma and extracellular matrix. The two contractile proteins in muscle, that is myosin and actin. Myosin is the thick filament, actin is the thin filament. They are component as well as thick and thin filament respectively. Myosin is found in the thick filament, actin is found in the thin filament. And myosin functions as a motor protein in all three types of muscle tissue, that is skeletal muscle, smooth muscle and cardiac muscle. Motor proteins pull various cellular structures to achieve movement by converting the chemical energy in ATP to the mechanical energy of motion, that is the production of force. In skeletal muscle, about 300 molecules of myosin form a single thick filament. Each myosin molecule is shaped like two golf clubs twisted together. The myosin tail twisted golf club handles point toward the M line in the center of the sarcomere. Tails of neighboring myosin molecules lie parallel to one another, forming the shaft of the thick filament. The two projections of each myosin molecule, golf club heads, are called myosin heads. The head, this is the myosin head. The head project outward from the shaft in a spiral fashion, and each extending toward one of the six thin filament that surrounds each thick filament. Six thin filament, it will surround each thick filament. The thin filaments are anchored to jet disc. Their main component is the protein actin. Individual actin molecule joins to form an actin filament that is twisted into a helix. On each actin molecule there is a myosin binding site where a myosin head can attach. Now this is the summary of skeletal muscle proteins. Smaller amount of two regulatory proteins except the actin and myosin. Tropomyosin, troponin are also part of the thin filament. Uh, in relaxed muscle, myosin is blocked from binding to actin because the strands of the tropomyosin cover the myosin binding site on actin. The tropomyosin strands in turn are held in peace by troponin molecule. When calcium ions bind to troponin, it undergoes a change in shape. This change moves tropomyosin away from myosin binding sites on actin, and muscle contraction subsequently begins as myosin binds to actin. Besides contractile and regulatory proteins, muscle contains about a dozen of structural proteins which contribute to the alignment, stability, elasticity and extensibility of myofibrils. Several key structural proteins are titin, actinin, myomesin, nebulin and dystrophin. This is the level of organization within a skeletal muscle. The first one is the skeletal muscle, then fascicle, then muscle fiber. This is the cell of the muscle tissue, then myofibril, and last of all the filaments, myofilaments. I think this video will help you to grow or revise your concept. Thank you, and we will again meet in the next video.